All right, let's get to college football. I'll give you my college football playoff predictions like I do every week here on the show. Um, I'll be honest, I struggled with it this week. I really did. I'm kind of caught in between spinning things forward and trying to handicap things that are happening right now. Ohio State is my number one team in the country. They are the best team in the country. They would be favored by at least a field goal, probably more, over everyone else. I think Alabama's going to run the table, and I think that means they will be the number 2 seed in the college football playoff field. If the field was picked today, obviously it would be Indiana or A&M. But Indiana still has to play Ohio State in a Big Ten championship game, and I think A&M is going to drop a game at some point. So I am still, for this week only, next week after we have a full week of ratings to dissect, right, the College Football Playoff Committee will give you their first look of the field this week. I might adjust my strategy, but for now I'm still going to spin it forward into how I think it's going to play out. This is not the College Football Playoff predictions today. This is what I think they will be in 4 or 5 weeks after the season's over. Ohio State 1, Bama 2, Indiana 3, A&M 4, Georgia 5, Ole Miss 6, Oregon 7, Texas Tech, Big 12 champ, huge game for them this week against BYU. Virginia, the ACC is a mess. They're only getting one team. Vandy, I'm keeping Vandy in the field. I know they lost to Texas, but I think Texas is going to drop a game to Georgia next week. I think Oklahoma is going to drop a game to Bama next week. And I think Vandy's going to win out and beat Tennessee the last week of the year and get in at 10-2. And I've got Notre Dame also in at 10-2. And in Memphis is my group of 5 team. I'll be honest, I have no idea what's going to happen in the group of 5. I do think there are some sleeper teams that could sneak in. San Diego State's one of them. Look out for San Diego State. San Diego State's got a cupcake of a schedule down the stretch, and they look like one of the best defenses in college football right now. They're 7-1. They play Hawaii, Boise State in 2 weeks. That's going to be the game that will decide their fate. But they're at home. They don't have to go to Boise. Then San Jose State, New Mexico. If San Diego State beats Boise on November 15th, San Diego State might go to the college football playoff, guys. Because I could see the AAC, which right now is the best group of 5 conference, to be fair. The AAC deserves, if the AAC has a one-loss team, that one-loss team should be in the group of 5 in the college football playoff. But that might not be the case. Like these teams might all knock each other off, and maybe San Diego State can sneak in. It's the 6th straight week I've had Bama winning my national title, and the 5th straight week I've had them beating Ohio State in the title game. Do I think they'd be the favorite in that game? No. But I got to go with my gut. I had Bama winning the championship from the jump. I had them as the best team in the country from week 1 on. And I've got to keep it there. I've got to keep Bama in my number 1 spot because I think Ty Simpson's the best quarterback in the country. Kind of. Although I got to be honest, after what I saw from Julian Sain last week, I might be wavering on that opinion. But I think Ohio State's right there. The Miami and Georgia Tech losses, right? Both Miami and Georgia Tech lost this weekend. The ACC's cooked. They're not getting a second team in. It's a one-and-done league this year. I just don't think it's good enough to get a second team. Notre Dame is kind of the question mark here. I'm going to be fascinated. So when you see the reveal of the college football playoff rankings on Tuesday night, I want you to keep a close eye on who the committee has as the highest-ranked 2-loss team. I think that is going to be crucial as we try to spin this thing forward, right? Miami's got 2 losses. Notre Dame has 2 losses. Is Notre Dame ranked ahead of Miami? Because if Notre Dame is ranked ahead of Miami right now, Miami can't jump them. Because Miami's not going to make the ACC championship game. They have no more important ranked games left. And Notre Dame's going to keep reeling off big wins. Because Notre Dame's got just the most cupcake of all cupcake schedules left. So even though Miami beat Notre Dame earlier this year, I still think there's a chance that Notre Dame and Miami both finish the year with 2 losses, and Notre Dame is the one that gets into the college football playoff. Why? Because Miami's 2 losses are bad losses against SMU and Louisville, whereas Notre Dame's 2 losses, field goal to Miami, 1 point to A&M. Quality losses matter in college football, right? We talked about this last year. That's why Bama didn't get in, because their losses were not quality. Whereas Notre Dame's 2 losses are pretty quality. Miami's 2 losses are not. SMU's probably not going to be ranked this year. And Louisville might finish in the 20 range. but they're not a top 10, top 15 team like A&M is. And you lost by a point. And you lost by a field goal against Miami. And frankly, we outplayed them for a big percentage of that game. You just fell behind early. So I still think, even though, and it sounds crazy, right? Tiebreaker, Notre Dame, Miami, 2 losses. Miami should get in. They beat Notre Dame. I don't know if it's that simple. So much time has passed between week 1 and when the college football playoff will be decided. I think there's a legit chance that Miami and Notre Dame finish with the same record. Head-to-head win for Miami. Notre Dame gets in the playoff. That's how I see it right now. We mentioned Vandy controls their own destiny. That's because I think Texas and Oklahoma are both going to lose. Now, if Texas beats Georgia next week, if Oklahoma beats Bama next week, well, that's a horse of a different color, a bird of a different feather. I don't think either of those things are going to happen. I think Texas loses to Georgia. I think Bama beats Oklahoma. I'm terrible at picking sides right now in college football. I was dead wrong with my Oklahoma losing at Tennessee over the weekend, but they kept their season alive, and you credit them. So my at-larges right now, I've got 4 in the SEC, A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Vandy. I've got 2 Big Ten at-larges, Indiana, Oregon. I've got Notre Dame as my independent. That's it. No ACC, no Big 12 in my at-large conversation right now. Sorry, not good enough. Big games this week. Indiana at Penn State. What's the line in that game? I don't even know if I want to look. Penn State. Hey, listen, they battled for a half. I thought I was going to cover the 17.5, but obviously didn't get there. Penn State's a 15.5 point home dog this week. You would think Indiana's going to come in and roll, but maybe this is the one game, right? Indiana's looked so good this year. They really haven't been tested. They go to Oregon and they dominate. That was the one wow game, but outside of that, they just have not been tested. Maybe they get tested this week. Maybe that Penn State defense puts some pressure on Mendoza, right? We saw Maryland a little bit early in the game get to Mendoza. But this is it. I mean, after this, Indiana plays Wisconsin and Purdue. So if they beat Penn State, they're going to go undefeated. And I don't think Mendoza's going to win the Heisman. We'll get to that in a minute, but I definitely think Indiana deserves all the flowers. The game of the week is in the Big 12, actually. BYU at Texas Tech, 2 top 10 teams. Cougars, one of the last remaining unbeatens in college football. But it's Texas Tech favored by double digits. Again, Texas Tech has been so much better in the trenches than any other team in the Big 12 this year. They absolutely butt-whipped Kansas State over the weekend. I think Texas Tech wins and finally puts a kibosh on this BYU luck box season. A&M at Missouri. Tigers still have an outside shot at the college football playoff, but let's be honest, their backup quarterback's in. Purbule's hurt. I'm not high on Missouri. But to be fair, A&M on the road can be tricky. They have not played well on the road this year. I know they beat LSU, but LSU quit. They barely got past Arkansas, and they barely got past Notre Dame. So I think there's a chance that the Missouri defense, right, their front 7, makes Marcel Reed one-dimensional, forces him to be a thrower, not a runner, and maybe A&M commits a penalty, gives Missouri a short field. I could absolutely see, right, like they're a touchdown favorite. I don't think I'd be laying a touchdown on the road with A&M right now, but I could definitely see them winning this game. And if they go 12-0, I mean, let's be honest, that's one of the more remarkable feats in recent memory. An SEC team going 12-0. That's why I think what Bama's doing is so impressive. Bama's one loss was to Florida State. They're probably going to go undefeated in the SEC. That is incredible in today's day and age, to go undefeated in an SEC gauntlet schedule. Impressive stuff. A&M is 3 wins away from doing that.